Welcome. I am Darlene Harris.
And I'm Anna King. Today we're going to dive deep into understanding how to analyze your leadership and membership trends.
This session will help you design outreach, membership, training, and leadership development strategies to deploy across your organization. Then we will look at membership trends to help you identify some specific opportunities to impact leadership development and membership growth. Finally, we'll show you how to identify some local PTAs to celebrate and recognize, nurture as future state PTA leaders, and even deploy as peer trainers or champions of PTA to other school and parent leaders in their communities. Anna?
As you know, we all need champions we can get to achieve our shared mission, which is to make every child's potential a reality by engaging and empowering families and communities to advocate for all children. We may be talking about a lot of numbers today, but never forget, the data we discuss are more than numbers. They are our people, our leaders, our members, people who represent the strength and influence of our collective voice as one association, which is the largest association dedicated to child advocacy. If we want to achieve more mission, we need more people. That means we need to stay focused on increasing these numbers, and that's what today is all about. So let's get started. Darlene?
Let's start with a few thoughts to ponder. First, no data report will be perfect. That's because it presents a snapshot of what is known or collected at a single point in time. The state PTA leadership and membership analysis you receive from National PTA will be generated from the data collected through the state-to-state report process, as well as the membership data your state PTA submitted to National PTA. We have paired the data as best as possible with the National Center for Education Statistics information that tells us important information, like student demographics, percentage of students qualifying for free and reduced lunches, and Title I school eligibility. So this data will not be perfect for many reasons. If you have major corrections or concerns, share with your NSR. But don't focus too heavily on the minor corrections. It won't change the stories that emerge from your data analysis. That's right, stories. Look for the stories that tell you what you may need to change or improve. Look for the opportunities to celebrate. Every page contains several stories, and minor corrections should not change the headlines of your stories.
We realize that some of this data may be hard for you to see. It may not tell the best story, and that's okay. Do not let it get you down. This is great to look at. It's the beginning of an important conversation, and your serious analyst shows you are making a bold step in the right direction. Use the data to facilitate discussion. We provided some questions for you to spark a collaborative conversation. Likely your discussion will generate a lot of great ideas, and ideas are awesome, but remember, you can't do it all. Prioritize your efforts. Sort ideas into quick wins versus long-term strategies that you'll need to chip away at. Let's explore the data.
The first section of the report analyzes your state government structure. Why is this important information? It helps you to measure human capacity and board health. Ask yourselves these questions. Do you have the ideal number of board members? Are there several vacancies or significant expense to your meetings? Are your meetings productive? Do any or all of your board members belong to one or several committees? Do you have committees that are really just the chairperson or completely vacant? What is the financial impact of this volunteer structure? Always know your per volunteer cost to the organization. Is that investment being returned in membership dues or other financial gains, such as donations or sponsorships? These are questions that help you to determine if you are structured for success or if you are at risk for volunteer burnout. If your board members are at risk of burnout, how can you support and nurture local PTA leaders to be effective with their boards? You may need some changes, beginning with your bylaws. Talk with your NSR who can tell you how other PTAs approached this process of restructuring for growth. We have some great examples of every size state PTA. Though these are not easy conversations nor decisions, change often leads to more substantial growth possibilities. Anna?
Those are some challenging questions, Darlene, but you're right. So important. Here are some other important questions. How diverse is your state PTA board? Are you reflective of the families you serve in your state? Do you have a mix of ages, gender, races, ethnicities, languages? And how about parents, educators, and students? Consider your state PTA board's geographic diversity as well as socioeconomics. Do you have board members who can speak from unique perspectives, such as the military community or special education or LGBTQ? Are all perspectives listened to, respected, and valued? Later in our leadership series, we'll be talking about how to lead inclusively to ensure every perspective is welcome and valued by your state PTA board if you think that's something your state PTA can work on. Diversifying your membership and leadership, as well as expanding inclusivity, should be continuous goals for your state PTA. Darlene, what's next?
Anna, next we have a report that talks about the mix of strategies and tactics your state PTA offers to communicate with, train, and grow membership. We have included information from other state PTAs so that you can compare yourselves to them if you would like. In this section of the report, you may feel great pride in all you do, and you should. You do a lot. But here's a tip for long-term growth. More is not necessarily better. More is just more. Sometimes you have to think about what we have already discussed, your state PTA's human capacity and fiscal resources. Is more better for your state PTA? What has the highest impact? What is most likely to advance the mission or amplify our voice? Now work with your board across your entire governance to design a mix of tactics focused on advancing the mission of PTA and strengthening relationships for your PTA. A word of advice: don't burn all of a volunteer's energy on newsletters and e-blasts if your traffic rate to those communication channels are low. We don't have that data, but it is possible you do. Look it up and focus on what is most useful to your audience. Some state PTAs are experiencing low attendance at events. If that is you, maybe try fewer trainings and instead shift your focus to more personal and localized coaching and training instead. Use your human and fiscal resources wisely. Sometimes that means changing a process or abandoning "we've always done it that way." That is okay. These are the tough decisions, but you have to commit to make tough decisions as leaders of your state PTA if you want to grow membership. Many of our growing state PTAs have been in your shoes. Lean on your peer network. Use the PTA lead community on BoardSource to ask for insights. Anna?
Thanks, Darlene. Now we'll begin to dive into membership trends. The first graph compares your state PTA membership with other states in a similar size. You probably know this information already, but the second graph may be new information. It shows you how your state PTA compares with other states of similar size when it comes to median number of members per unit. Why is this information so important? It's important because a great membership growth strategy is to help local PTAs set higher goals. Encourage PTAs with a lower membership history to aim for their state PTA median. As a state PTA, you can set your own goal to increase the median through training and great customer service of local PTAs. Speaking of customer service, let's talk retention. In the state PTA analyzed, you will see the number of active, inactive, revoked, non-reporting, and new units you have. I'll caution that these numbers may be different than what you have in your latest report. Remember what we said at the beginning of the video. This analyze gives you a snapshot of your state PTA membership from a specific point in time, which is different than the present. This part of the report tells you where you should focus your efforts. For example, how many PTAs are doing great work? How can you reach them to celebrate their efforts and share the best practices? How many PTAs need more training and coaching and membership growth? How will you better support and service them? Who do you need to support on compliance and reporting? How many new PTAs need someone that they can connect with regularly? Use this data to make a plan for training, coaching, and celebrating local PTAs. Speaking of celebrating PTAs, Darlene?
Yes, it's time to celebrate. In each report, we will highlight for you some of your state PTA success stories. Often we say things like, well, it's more challenging in Title I schools, or that works in elementary, but it won't work in the middle schools. In this report, you will find a short list of PTAs who made it work, grew membership, no matter the circumstances or challenges. These are PTAs to recognize and PTA leaders to cultivate as future leaders for your association. Promote their proven practices. Encourage them to train or mentor other PTAs. Deploy them and their school principals as champions in their communities for recruiting other parent groups to be PTA. To help with that, we have included a map of your state PTA with pins for PTA units that grew, declined, or had no change in membership from prior year. It is interactive so that you can go in and explore more about each PTA by clicking on the Google Map link and hovering over the pins. Spend time with this map. Make it yours. Add a column if you'd like to track outreach or engagement. This map tells you where your PTA membership is strong and where there are opportunities to grow. It helps you to pinpoint geographic strengths, weaknesses, and gaps, and then you can make a plan for targeted outreach strategies. Here is a tip. When recruiting new PTAs, break down a geographic area and use the successful PTA leaders and school principals in the area as part of your recruitment team. Chip away at the map, 3 to 5 PTAs or schools at a time. You want to build and sustain strong relationships. Make sure you are intentional about your growth so that you can provide the best customer experience possible. We will talk more about that in a future video. We hope you've enjoyed this video and find your state PTA analysis useful in developing smart strategies. We encourage you to use the Leadership Drives Membership Discussion Guide, available on the State Resource Bank, to facilitate conversation with other state PTA leaders when you watch these videos. If you have PTA councils, districts, regions, or field service reps, loop them into these tools and encourage them to be part of the planning process. The other videos you will want to watch include Design Your State PTA Membership Plan, Lead with Inclusion, Communicate the Value of PTA, Improve Your Local PTA Customer Experience, and train your local PTAs to make a membership growth plan.
Thanks, Darlene. If you have feedback on this series or would like to share some ideas for how we can support you in the future, please email ptatraining@pta.org. Remember, leadership is the ability to guide others without force into a direction or a decision that leaves them still feeling empowered and accomplished. And that is what you do every day. And we want to say thank you. You attract, support, and grow local PTA leaders. You are the fuel for our mission, which is to make every child's potential become a reality by engaging and empowering families and communities to advocate for all children. And we are so grateful for all that you do. Thank you.